Hi everyone, it's Killshot 99 Gaming. This is Playdead Live. This is Ship Strike. This is the official playoff round number 1. We got some good matches for you guys tonight. As you guys know, we were doing Ship Strike every quarter. Now, for 2026, we're doing a Ship Strike match every month. So by the time we get to the end of the season, there's going to be like 10 or 11 matches. So we get a really, really good sampling. So really quickly, whose boat was that sinking over there? Was it Vox? Was it Sly? Because we've got a good matchup. Now remember, you got one of two directions you can go in this tournament. You can get a Gavel's Globe and advance, or you can get the dreaded Pity Fish. Now the Pity Fish is down at the bottom. So if your boat sinks, you're going to be down there with the Pity Fish. We got, I'm really excited about tonight. So a little bit, one change in rules. This is why it's important to play these matches, get home field advantage. Because the home team tonight, each of the home teams will get one additional move. So the home team will start the game, and they will also finish the game. So that one additional move could be a big deal, but that's why these matches are important during the season, because that's really what you're fighting for. We know, look, match number 1 is going to be an epic battle. We got Vox. Like, Vox was literally, they were on a roll. But they got a late start. Sly pulled off that big win at the end, and now Vox is traveling to Sly in this first match. But we know Vox got that win streak going. So, Father Ron stepping in to captain tonight for the great Captain Dr. Die. So they are giving each player a chance to captain. And we got Dimes, who's the captain for Team Sly. So we're going to get to see Ocean Man tonight. We're going to get to see the Animal, Football, Nightshade, Tim, Trigger, Doc, Bones, Dimes, and Father Ron. One of the most fun events that we do. And I'm going to show you. Tonight's epic lineups for the first match. Here we are. We're at the Sly Harbor. And you can see we will start out with Deadly Dimes. Then we go to Father Ron. Then we go back to Deadly Dimes. Then Dr. Die. Then Bones. Then Trigger. Then Ocean Man. Sir Tim. Animal. Nightshade. Football. And then we go back to Father Ron. And we get on a normal cycle. Just a reminder. You got a lot of specialty grenades. So you got to throw a specialty grenade in order to hit. You got your buncos, you got your sad grenades, your bad grenades. You guys ready to get down to it? Hello, Busy Bee. There's our real champion right there. Busy, just want you to know we're thinking about you, and we love you, and we're ready when you're ready to jump back in to some of the epic 999 championship events. All right, the countdown is on. Deadly Dimes, are you ready? Let's go. Deadly Dimes, you're on the clock. Let's get this thing rolling. A little bit of Playdead Live. And captains, I will read it twice. Dime's going to drop a seal. Going to play a Bunko. Bunko's going to C3 and E5. Bunko to C3, E5. It is en route. C3 is a miss. E5 is also a miss. All right, Father Ron, let's go over to you. Father Ron dropping a seal. Ron is going to play a bunco. And it's going to E2. I'm sorry, going to B2, E5. B2, E5. It is en route. B2 is a miss. E5 is also a miss. All right, let's go back to Deadly Dimes. Deadly Dimes, your second move as the home team. Dimes. Clock is ticking. Bunco. F2, G7. Throwing a bunco to F2 and G7. It is en route. F2 is a miss. G7 is also a miss. Dr. Dye, you're on the clock. Dr. Dye with a seal. Dr. Dye throwing a bunco. C7, F6. Dr. Dye bunco. C7, F6. It is en route. C7 is a miss. F6 is also a miss. Bones, you're on the clock. Bones dropping a seal. Bones throwing a bunco. Bunco to B7, A1. Ron says wait. Ron going to use a blue to shut it down. All right, let's go to Trigger. Trigger, you're on the clock. Trigger dropping a seal. Trigger going bunco, H1, F8. H1, F8. It is en route. H1 is a miss. F8 is also a miss. Ocean Man, you're on the clock. Ocean Man with a seal and throwing a grizzly to B7. Amy gave him 2 targets. He chose the B7. Grizzly to B7 is en route. B7 is a miss. Ah. Sir Tim, you are now on the clock, sir. Tim. Sir Tim with a seal. And then a bunco. Bunco going to A8, D7. Bunco, A8, D7. Dime says wait. Dimes playing a blue. Our team's on to something. Animal, you're up. Both teams playing early blue. Animal, seal, bunco to D5, and give me a second target for the bunco. Bunco has to have 2 targets. Bunco to D5 and E3. Plays a seal. Plays a bunco. To D5 and to E3. Ron says wait. Now either Sly is on to something or Ron's giving him the okie doke. We'll see. Trigger going to Judas it to A8 and D7. Ah, dimes. They're using their legendary to come right back at you with their last 2 targets. Dimes, A8 and D7. And they're going to Judas it back again to E3 and D5. Double Judas. All right, Ron, the ball is now in your court. A Judas and a re-Judas to E3, D5. Ron, because it's a legend, let me know if it's en route or wait. All right. E3 and D5, one of those 2 is a hit. One of those 2 would be a hit. All right, let's go to Nightshade. Nightshade dropping a seal. And going Bunko to H8, G8. Bunko to H8, G8. It is en route. H8 is a miss, and G8 is also a miss. Football, you're up. Do we have football? Going once. Going twice. I got nothing. If he typed an abbreviation, seal, Grizzly to E3. Playing a seal, Grizzly to E3. Grizzly to E3 is en route. Nightshade has lost his seal. Ron, you're up. Back to the top. Going to put a max seal on Nightshade. Bunko to A8, D7. Max seal to Nightshade. Bunko to A8, D7. A8, D7 is en route. A8 is a miss. D7 is also a miss. Maybe the bluff of the year by Dimes. Dimes, you're up. After that, pulling that poker face. How can you live with yourself after a bluff like that, Dimes? Vines to Nightshade. Dimes with the vine smoke, breaking the seal. And Grizzly to E3. Ron says wait. Ron preventing the vines, which either way it'll have the same effect because then the grenade will break the seal. But I guess the light at the end of the tunnel is they are getting them to use some of their vines, right? because you only get 1 Vines. Dr. Die, you're up. Max Seal to Nightshade. Bunko, E2, A4. Bunko, E2, A4. It is en route. E2 is a miss. A4 is also a miss. Bones, you're up. Bones going Vines, breaking a seal, and then going Sad Grenade to E3. E3's a hit. Bones, your next attack. Bones with the first hit of the game. It is a Sad Grenade, so she gets a second attack. F3 Grizzly. F3. Breaks Ron Seal. Trigger, you're up. Nightshade, Resin Restore, please. Nightshade cannot be sealed, but he does continue to play. Do we have Trigger? Max Seal to Father Ron. Bunko, G4, F3. Max Seal to Ron. Bunko, G4, F3. Dime says wait. Aiden, if you can type Resin Restore, please. Dime's going to prevent it. All right. Both teams out of preventions. The game will go faster. All right. Ocean Man, you're up. Got vines to Father Ron. And a sad grenade. Going to F3. Vines to Ron. We'll break the seal. Sad grenade is a hit. Ocean Man, you get one more move. Ron, Resin Restore. Thanks, sir. Ocean Man, your next grenade and your next attack. Grizzly to G3. Grizzly to G3 is en route. G3 is a miss. Sir Tim, you are on the clock. Sly with the early lead, but we know these games can turn in a hurry. Sir Tim going Grizzly to F3. Grizzly to F3 is a hit. Ocean Man loses his seal. We got a game now. Animal, you're up. Animal, your move. Max seal to Ocean Man. And then going Grizzly to D3. Trigger loses her seal. Nightshade, you're up. Do we have Nightshade? Both teams, I want to give you a warning. I need your players to be ready to go. We call on them, or we're going to skip. We got to have these moves in. Nightshade, your move. Vines to F3. Obviously, that's the target because the sad will also go to F3. All right, Vines will break Ocean Man's seal. F3 is a hit. And Nightshade, you get a second turn. Where's your grenade going as your second target? I need the grenade type. Grizzly to G3. Grizzly to G3 is going to break animal seal. Football, you're up. Football going sad grenade to D3. Trigger, res and restore. Football sank the first battleship. Sly 1-0. Football, give me your bonus attack. Bunko, B2, E7. B2 is a miss. E7 is also a miss. Father Ron, you're up. Sad grenade to G3. G3 is a hit. Animal, res, and restore. Ron, give me your bonus attack and where it's going. Grizzly to H3. Grizzly to H3 is a miss. Dimes, you're up. 30 minutes to go. Plenty of time for both teams, but play fast. Bunko, A1, H5. A1 is a miss. H5 is also a miss. Dr. Dye, you're up. Can't play vines to a unrevealed target, so type no vines. And H3 was already a miss. So that grenade is a second miss. H3 was missed on the previous turn. But you still have your vines. Bones, you're up. Bunko, C6, D5. C6 is a miss. D5, also a miss. Trigger, you're up. Grizzly to E3. Football loses his seal. Ocean Man, you're up. Ocean Man, your move. Matt Seal, Football Master. Bunko. B4, and I need a second target. You type CR. Max Seal to football, Bunko to B4, and C what? C4. B4, C4. B4 is a miss. C4 is also a miss. Sir Tim, your move. Vines to E3 and a snow to E3. It's a nice move, Tim. Vines breaks football seal. Sir Tim with a snowstorm. Start with the bottom left. We'll freeze the bottom left with a snowstorm. And Sir Tim sinking a battleship to tie it up. Football, res and restore. We got to tie a game, everybody. And just like that, we're tied. Chance to go to the championship. Animal, you're up. Bunko, H2, D1. H2 is a miss. D1 is also a miss. Nightshade, a chance for Vox to take the lead after trailing early. Nightshade is up. Has momentum shifted? Nightshade, you're up. Got to have a move. Bunko, G1, F1. G1 is a miss. F1 is also a miss. Football, you're up. Sly trying to get back the lead. Can football come through? Bunko, F6, D8. F6 is a miss. D8 is also a miss. Father Ron, you're up. We're in round number 4. What a close game. It is 1-1. Bunko, B1, C4. B1 is a miss. C4 is also a miss. Dimes, you're up. Ooh, every move is magnified, isn't it? Bunko, G4, A4. G4 is a miss. A4 is also a miss. Wow. Dr. Dye, you're up. Man, this map is looking covered. Bunko, B5, F7. B5. B5 is a miss. F7 is also a miss. Bones, you're up. Bunko, A8, H1. A8 and H1. One of those two is a hit. One of those two is a hit. Can't tell you which one. Trigger, you're up. Bunko, H7, B7. H7 is a miss. B7 is also a miss. And I'm out of X's, so hold on 1 second. Ocean Man, you're up. Grizzly to H1. He's got a feeling it's H1. Grizzly to H1 is a miss. Sir Tim, your move. Bunko, A1, A2. A1 is a miss. A2 is also a miss. Animal, you're up. I think the captains did a good job of hiding their boats. Just saying. Grizzly to A8. Grizzly to A8 is a hit. There is no seal, so that should tell you something. Animal with the hit. Nightshade, your move. Both teams have your players ready, play fast. You need every move you can get. Are we skipping him? Or is he logged in? Bunko, H2, G2. H2 is a miss. G2 is also a miss. Football, you're up. Grizzly to A7. Is he right? Yes, he is. Football with another hit. Father Ron, you're up. Your team needs you. Bunko, D3, D6. D3 is a miss. D6 is also a miss. Wow. Dimes, you're up. Sad to A6. Dimes sinking a battleship. Dimes. Give me your second attack. Sly is up 2-1. Ghost ship is sunk. Vox is not out yet. Bunko, H6, E1. H6 is a miss. E1 is also a miss. Dr. Die, need you to come back strong. Let's go, Doc. Bunko, B6, C3. B6 is a miss. C3 is also a miss. Bones, you're up. 12 minutes. Winner moves on to the championship. Bunko, F5, H8. F5, H8. One of those two is a hit. One of those two is a hit. Trigger, you're up. Bunko, H5, G5. H5 is a miss. G5 is a miss. Ocean Man, you're up. Grizzly to H8. You break the ice block. Sir Tim, your move. Bunko, A5, A6. Whoa, Sir Tim. A5 and A6, don't go anywhere. Because they are both hits, which means they get revealed. A5 and A6. Wow. This game just got close. Animal, you're up. Tim with the two-bagger. What a turn of events. Animal, your move. Let's go. Grizzly to F5. Grizzly to F5. Is a miss. Nightshade, your move. Sad to A7. Nightshade. Sinking the battleship. We are tied. Oh my goodness. Nightshade, you get a bonus move. We are dead even. And he played the sad grenade for a bonus move. Why was the message retracted? A, I need the message typed back, and I need the second move. Guys, what's going on? Box. Ron, Doc, Trigger, what's going on? All right, guys, we got to skip. We're skipping the move. Football, your move. All right, Grizzly to B3. I'm going to allow it. It's a miss. Football, your move. Grizzly to H8. Grizzly to H8. Doc loses her seal. This is important. Doc losing her seal. Ron, your move. Bunko. D4. G4. D4 is a miss. G4 is a miss. Dimes, you're up. Sad to H8. Dr. Die, res and restore. Bones. Second attack. I'm sorry, Dime, second attack. Grizzly to G8. Grizzly to G8 is a miss. Doc, your move. Bunko, D2, D5. One of those two is a hit. One of those two is a hit. Bones, your move. H7 Grizzly. Sir Tim loses his seal. Well, Trigger, you got one shot. Your move. Sad to D2. Bones loses her seal. Ocean Man, you're up. Max Seal Bones, H7 Grizzly. Ocean Man with the win. H7 takes out Sir Tim Sly. Moving on to the championship. Our MVP is, in fact, Ocean Man. With the winning move. Congratulations, Team Sly. What a epic battle between, I'm telling you, this was a good one. Has to hit. You don't get a second grenade from Sad unless it hits the target. It hit the seal. I'm going to say both teams had very, very similar numbers. You guys both picked numbers that were pretty close. Congratulations, Team Sly. Moving on to the finals. The question is, who are they going to play? Will it be our defending grand champions, Ark, or will it be Team Jet? We're about to find out. Great job to both teams. What epic battle. Here we go. Ark versus Jet. Your starting lineup is as follows. We got Valar. We'll have Justice going first because home field. Then we got Valar. Then Justice. Then Julia. Then Kel. Then Dow. Then MPC. Then Shaman. Then Henny, played by Kel. Then Gronk, played by Valar. And then Cardinal. All right, here we go. Justice, you're on the clock. Let's go get it. Seal, Bunko, C3H1. And remember, I'll read it twice. Valar and Justice are your captains. Bunko, C3H1. C3 and H1 is en route. C3 is a miss. H1 is also a miss. Valar, your move. Villar, you're up. Captain Villar, hello? There we go. Villar dropping a seal. Bunko. A2, H2. Bunko. A2, H2 is en route. A2's a miss. H2 is also a miss. Justice, your second move. Bunko, A3, C7. Justice Bunko, A3, C7. Villar says wait. Villar playing a blue to shut it down. All right. Julia, your move. Dropping a seal. Julia playing Bunko, C3, G3. A Bunko, C3, G3. Is en route. C3 is a miss. G3 is also a miss. Kel, you're up. Winner of this game will face Sly in the championship. Kel playing a seal. Bunko. A3, B7. A3, B7. A3, B7 is en route. A3 is a miss. B7 is also a miss. Let's go over to Dow. Dow, you're on the clock. Dow playing a seal. Bunko. A8, H8. Justice says wait on the 8. A8, H8, Justice says wait. Justice playing a blue to shut it down. Kel playing Problem Child, you're up. Dropping a seal. Bunko, C7, H4. Bunko, C7, H4. It is en route. C7 is a miss. H4, also a miss. A little tricky by Kel there. Shaman, you're up. I see what you did, Kel. Shaman with a seal. Bunko, H8, H1. H8, H1 by the Shaman. It is en route. H8 is a miss. H1 is also a miss. Kel playing Hendricks. You're up. You know, if the game of Battleship had Bunko grenades, it would have been a heck of a lot more fun when I was growing up, for sure. I think we've changed the game of Battleship. What do you guys think? Henny dropping a seal. Bunko, E2, F5. Bunko to E2, F5. Villar says wait. Villar using a prevention. Villar playing Gronk. Villar, you're up. I can't tell with you guys anymore who's bluffing and who's serious. And then you guys have like bluff detectors too, which is funny as well. We got Villar playing Gronk. Villar playing a seal. And also throwing a Bunko. A8, D7. Justice says wait. A8, D7. Justice using a prevention. Justice and Villar are tricky. I think y'all up to something. Cardinal, you're up. Time for the Cardinal. Cardinal dropping a seal. Cardinal going Bunko, F5, G6. F5, G6. Villar says wait. All right, they're going to eclipse. That will make F5 and G6 both disappear. So the bunco fizzles. All right, Villar. No more preventions or legends for Arc. Your move, Villar. Grizzly to A8. Villar, Grizzly to A8. Is en route. And it is Judas. All right, Justice. Using a Judas, where are you going to redirect it? To F5. Judas back to F5. Breaks Villar's seal. Ouch. Justice. It's now your move. Ouch. That was a painful Judas. Don't think that could have been timed much better. Sad grenade to F5. Villar, resin restore. Justice, take another shot. Grizzly to F4. Grizzly to F4 is a miss. Julia, you're up. Grizzly to A8. Grizzly to A8 is a miss. Kel, you're up. Grizzly to E5. E5 is a miss. Dow, you're up. Bunko, A6, D8. A6 is a miss. D8 is also a miss. Kel, you're up with MPC. Grizzly to G5. G5 is a miss. Well, Shaman, you're up. Bunko, F8, G8. F8 is a miss. G8 is also a miss. Kel, you're up with Henny. Grizzly to F6. Gronk loses his seal. Gronk, you're up. Valar playing Gronk. Valar, your move as Gronk. There you go. Max seal to Gronk. And Valar playing Bunko. E5, B5. E5 is a miss. B5 is also a miss. Cardinal, you're up. Vines to Gronk, sad to F6. Cardinal sinking a battleship. Vines. And sinking a two-seater. Cardinal on the board. Cardinal, you get a bonus attack. Let's see it. Jet with the early lead, but it is a two-seater. Bunko, C1, E8. One of those two is a hit. One of those two is a hit. The Cardinals on fire. Wow. Valar, you're up. Ark has got to get back in this game. They are defending grand champions of Ship Strike. But Jet off to an early lead. Valar, next one up. All right. And Valar, if you can res and restore for Gronk too. You can't max seal Gronk because he's dead. He just got dead. So type no max seal and type res and restore. So Bunko, C5 and D1. C5 is a miss. D1 is also a miss. Justice, you're up. Snowstorm to C1. C1 is a miss, but Justice playing it smart. He said his backup plan was, let's freeze something. I like the move. Julia, you're up. And Valar, if you could type res and restore as well for the inventory team. So we can get Gronk. Julia Bunko, C1, G5. One of those two is a hit. Art finally getting some data. One of those two is a hit. Kel, you're up. Snowstorm to E8. Well, you're going to like this. E8 is a hit, which means it was not on a player because there was no seal to break. And she does get the snowstorm effect. Dow, you're up. Dow, you're up. Dow going Grizz to G5. Well, you had a 50-50 chance, right? MPC seal is broken. It is a hit, but it is a seal break. Speaking of MPC, you're up. Dow knows a little something now. MPC with a max seal. Snowstorm to E7. E7 is a miss, but they do get a snowstorm. Shaman, you're up. Vines and Grizz to G5. Vines breaks MPC's seal. G5 is a hit. All right, Kel is up as Henny. Shaman with the first hit, giving Ark some life to get back in the game. Never over until it's over. Henny snowstorm to D8. D8 is a hit. And we know that's a ghost boat because there's no seal. And he does get the snowstorm effect. Chipping away and freezing things. I see what they're doing. All right, Valar, you're up as Gronk. Jet freezing their pond and taking down boats. We got Valar and then we got Cardinal. Kel, res and restore for MPC. Valar Grizz to G6. G6. Going to break Kel's seal. Pretty good guess, huh? Game's getting close. All right, Cardinal, you're up. $30 minutes to go, both teams. Going to go max seal to Kel. Snowstorm to F8. Cardinal, nice pick. I'm telling you, that dude is 2 for 2. Cardinal sinking another ship. That's 2 for the Cardinal. Both ships sunk by the Cardinal. All right, Valar. Y'all got to get it in gear. Valar, you're up. And he gets a snowstorm effect. We're all the way up to round 4 already. All right, going. Vines to Kel and a sad grenade. Kel, res and restore. Valar, you got another shot. Throw your second grenade. Snowstorm to G4. Valar. G4, breaking Henny's seal. All right, Justice. You're up. Max Seal to Henny. Bunko. E3, B5. E3's a miss. B5 is also a miss. Julia, you're up. Vines and a sad to G4. Vines will break Henny's seal. Henny, res and restore. And how about Julia getting arc in the game, sinking a ship? It is 2-1, but remember, Arc could still take the lead if they get a 3-seater. So this game is close. Julia, second attack. It is still anybody's game. How was Villar skipped? All right, Henny was Grizz G6. Chad was Max Seal Kell. Villar was Vines Sad Grenade G6. Gronk was Grizz G6. It was Gronk, then Chad, she wasn't skipped. All right. Grizzly to A4. Grizzly to A4 is a miss. Kel, you're up. Bunko, E2H7. E2's a miss. H7 is also a miss. Dow, you're up. Bunko, F1, D7. F1, D7, one of those two is a hit. MPC, you're up. Arc is hot on the trail. Bunko, D4, A6. One of those two is a hit. Oh my goodness. Both unveiling some data. My. All right, Shaman, you're up. Grizz to D7. Cardinal. Losing his seal. Talk about Shaman with the instincts. Cal. Henny's up. Snowstorm to A6. A6 is en route, and it is a miss. Valar, you're up as Gronk. If you are using an alt character, make sure that those grenades are in the alt character's account tonight. Those of you that are using multiple accounts. Gronk, your move. Gronk, sad to D7. Cardinal, res and restore. Valar, second attack with Gronk. Second attack, Valar with Gronk. Gronk, C7. Grizzly, C7, Grizzly. C7 is a miss. Cardinal, you're up. The only person to sink any ships tonight with Team Jet is the Cardinal. Grizzly to D4. Dow is losing his shield. Dow loses his seal. Valar, your move. Valar, your move. Max seal to Dow. E7 Grizz. Justice losing his seal. Justice, your move. All right, both teams onto something, but pressure can always kick in. The right move for the right time. Vines to Dow, D4 Grizzly. Dow, res and restore. Julia, you're up. Sad grenade to E7. Justice, res and restore. The game is almost tied. Jet has they both sunk a 2-seater and a 3-seater, but Jet has one more hit. But Julia could tie the game. Julia, your move. Julia has now sunk 2 ships. Chad has sunk 2. Julia sunk 2. Oh my goodness. Julia going Grizz to F7. Nope, that was a 2-seater. But they could have stacked them side by side. But F7 is a miss. Kel, you're up. Can Jet pick the right direction before Ark uncovers where the next boat is? Bunko, D3, E4. One of those two is a hit. Not sure that helped you too much, though. Dow, you're up. Bunko, F1, E1. F1 is a miss. E1 is also a miss. MPC, you're up. Ark desperately trying to find that boat before Jet finishes the path. Grizzly to D3. It is a hit. Shaman losing her seal. Shaman, you're up. And they know where you are. Shaman gonna max seal herself. Bunko, F3, E3. F3's a miss. E3 is also a miss. All right, Henny, you're up. Henny with vines. Shaman, res and restore. And a hit to D3. Valar, you are up as Gronk. Jet one tile away. Ark still desperately searching. Bunko, D3, D4. Oh my God. Valar with a double hit on a ghost ship. Are you kidding me? D3 breaks the seal. One is sealed though, but I do have to unveil them. So the ice block is unsealed. And D4. All right. They are double hits, but one is an ice block. So she melts the ice block and gets credit for the hit. It is a two-bagger for the Gronk. Cardinal, you're up. Bunko hits if it is both targets unveiled. Only if both targets are a perfect hit. We covered that last week. Yep. Grizzly to D5. Julia loses her seal. Valar, you're up. Valar, your move. Sad grenade to D3. D3 is a hit. Now, Valar, I'm just going to tell you. The sad grenade hits. You get one bonus hit. If you get it right, you will win the game. If you don't, Justice will win the game. You got one grenade and one shot. Throw it. Valar, throw your final grenade. She throws a bun. Are you kidding me? One of those two is a hit. Oh my goodness. No. No. You had to hit the target, Justice. Your attack. Grizzly to D5 for the win. Justice gets the win. Oh my goodness, Valar. Oh, you had a 50-50 chance. Congratulations, Jet. What an epic finish. All right, Valar. You had to pick D2 or D5. So, pick one of those two right now. D2 or D5. Villar, if you would have picked D2, you would have won the game. It was D2. It was that close. D2 was the difference between winning and losing. Wow, what a game, y'all. What a game. Congratulations, Jet. Moving on to the finals. Ark had a chance to go back and defend their title, but Jet getting the win at the very end, and we will see Jet travel to Sly next week. But what an epic battle. This is what it's all about. Nerves, it comes down to it. Great game, though. You guys played it awesome down to the wire. Good stuff. Don't feel bad, Villar. We'll start a brand new season in January. But next Monday night, 9 o'clock prime time, everybody, Jet traveling to Sly. Sly is the number 1 seed. They will have home field advantage. 9 p.m. Everybody be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys have a great night. Congratulations, both teams. We will see you very, very soon for an epic battle. Our MVP, no doubt, it was the Cardinal. Cardinal sunk 2 ships. Congratulations, Chad. MVP and Jet punching a ticket to the finals. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.